Okay, so the Sadducees basically thought that you could patch yourself together, or who they believed in God, Satan, would patch them back together. Um, and that's why I believe in the patching back together theory of your body. Is because the Sadducees worshipped him, and Jesus had to correct them and say God is a God of the living and not of the dead. So that kind of indicates that they believed that he would put them back together piece by piece while they were dead and in hell. They kind of believed that that was like a heaven. And if you look up some of the Egyptian texts, it says it indicates that hell is heaven. They talk about fields of gold, um, and in that field of gold, I guess that there are dead bodies being put back together. But they don't really believe in resurrection the way we do, I don't think. I think they believe in patching the body back together, um, a piece at a time. The Christians are very different about that. They believe in resurrection of the full body. Like I guess it is all at once. How Jesus is going to take you up, when he raptures you and different things. He's going to take your body's going to be changed into something perfect. And see, they don't believe in that. They believed in Satan, basically, and they believed you could patch your body back together. But that's why Jesus referred to them as worshiping a god of the dead, because the whole Egyptian underworld is characterized as being they're all undead. They're basically the living dead. Um, and there's a lot of talk about that throughout time in different religions, but these are one. Egyptian is especially a religion with demons involved. And that's the whole religion basically that the Bible is against, is the Egyptians, because it says in the Bible the Egyptians are men and not gods. Um, so they actually believed that they had gods of the underworld and who could raise you from the dead or keep you dead or whatever, but they clearly believed in taking dead body parts or living body parts and patching them onto the dead part, the part that's old. And Jesus says that doesn't work that way. The wine, new wine must be put in new bottles, or the bottles will burst. So basically, he's saying, and he says he uses the analogy of a garment also, and he says this garment cannot be patched back together. Basically, it needs to be a new garment instead. So he had arguments against the Egyptians that we know of, and that it's throughout the Bible, the argument against the Egyptians and the Canaanites and Cain. The Canaanites come from Cain, basically. The Philistines and whatnot come from Cain. And so that's why it's so important to note Rahab and Ruth came from the line of Canaanites, or came from the line of Moabites, because Jesus was against these religions. And these religions clearly threw babies and different things into the fire. So they don't, like the Egyptians, they don't believe certain things are wrong, that, like murder, that the Bible automatically believes are wrong. But basically, they've got everything kind of upside down to the biblical religion. So when you see that, you can see that Cain may be patching body parts back together, and Cain may be still alive, which is a long shot to prove that he's still alive, because he can't have kids anymore because he's basically a demon. He's the basic demon, the starting demon, but he can't have kids anymore. Or you could prove it with their DNA, but you can't do that because there's no proof there, because there's no kids there. You're not going to find any kids there. To actually test him, you would have to find him and certain Egyptians from his lineage and like do a DNA test or something and be like, yeah, they're descendants of Cain or whatever. But even Jesus Christ mentions that's not enough, because he can save anybody, including the Canaanites and the people that believe in these Egyptians. But so the Sadducees, during their time, the Egyptians were still worshipped by like Herod and different people. They had changed them into like different Greek gods and different things. But a lot of the same folklore and whatnot exists throughout time because it's all based on Cain.